What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Continuing with our first house series, today we'll be covering Jupiter and the Ascendant. What is the Ascendant? Well, the Ascendant, if you don't know, it represents our personality, our physical being, everything that we show to the world. All right, and Jupiter represents wisdom, represents knowledge, our belief system, and Jupiter expands upon those things and the things involved in the house in which it sits. Jupiter also represents culture, religion, in a woman's chart, her husband, and many more. So when Jupiter gets into the ascendant, these people are known as very, very knowledgeable and wise people. And depending on the sign, that knowledge, it will be good or bad. And I hate saying good or bad. It'll be a certain kind of knowledge. Like we know Jupiter is our divine intelligence, right? It's spirituality, religion, and stuff like that. But depending on the sign in which Jupiter is placed and the house is placed, determines what kind of knowledge you'll be receiving. But you will have a very good understanding and wisdom of life. For instance, what I noticed is that a lot of people who are very successful, like in the drug game and things of that nature, especially in the 80s, early 90s, and things of that nature. A lot of those people are born with Jupiter in Taurus and Jupiter in Capricorn. And Jupiter is actually debilitated in Capricorn. And if you study it, you can see why. All right? So, like I said, those people, they weren't preaching to others, they weren't enlightening others about, God or anything like that. They weren't receiving um, wisdom of that nature, but they have a great understanding on how to make something out of nothing in a system that is somewhat against you. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, your Jupiter is going to determine what kind of wisdom you have. And when it's in the ascendant, for the most part, it makes the person very lucky in life. You're well respected by people because people look at you as a wise person, someone who is knowledgeable. And one thing, depending on the sign, like say it's maybe like a Jupiter in Scorpio or something like that, maybe a Jupiter in Pisces, the person may not be comfortable or show a lot of their Jupiterian qualities early in life. But with Jupiter being expansion throughout life, it just comes to you. So, and mind you, and like I said, you cannot be into spirituality, religion, or anything for 25 to 30 years of your life, maybe even in your 40s. And that's where, planetary time periods and things like that, transits and all of that come into effect, right? But at some point throughout your life, you always respect wisdom and you always respect knowledge and you always take away your own insights on things. Now, with the ascendant representing the body and Jupiter, naturally ruling the thighs, naturally ruling the feet, um, and like I said, sign placement is very, very key. We have a Jupiter and Aries in the first house. Oh man, this is very high chance that this is some type of an athlete, maybe specifically a uh, dancer or soccer player, right? Some like that's how we want to look at it. Match up the sign, house, and everything. Uh, Maybe if this is, let's say, cancer, excellent for a doctor. Now, like I said, it makes you lucky in life because most people go through with education. It gives you a good natural intelligence, whereas school and things like that aren't too hard. So you will see a lot of people with Jupiter in the first. If they did go to the traditional college route, you'll see them with PhDs and doctorates and things of that nature. But don't get me wrong, everyone is gonna have their own wisdom. Like these are knowledgeable people. These you can't judge these people despite how they look. Because in this world we live in, we love to look at people and assume that we know how they are. So you can have, somebody who looks like even a stoner. You can have if anyone hangs around stoners, there's always that one stoner that he is just so wise. He, like, you can tell he's on a good high, and he's seeing life from his point of view, and he's continuing to learn. That is someone who you can't judge, and that's a Jupiter in the first. Someone who can always come, if they choose to, enlighten you. Now, another thing with Jupiter in the first, what I wanted to get back to with the body, is that these people have to watch their weight, especially Jupiter and Taurus. Especially Jupiter and Taurus. These people, Earth signs, what I've noticed, Earth signs, Jupiter doesn't do well at all, like health wise. Because Jupiter's your health, your luck in some capacity. So in a well placed Jupiter, especially like say you got Jupiter and Sag, can make someone really healthy, can make them healthy, and because you have that luck of Jupiter, and then with the ascendant and things like that. But I noticed Jupiter and Earth signs give a lot of problems physically and stuff like that with the person's health, and also with weight. It may go up and down. For the ladies, you have, like, you're lucky in relationships. You usually attract a very respectable, intelligent partner. Um, stray away from your superficial tendencies. Women with Jupiter in the first, more than anything, need to go off of personality, because these are the type of people, and I hate to split it up gender wise, but I'll just say everyone should really go off of personality more than anything, because you can have someone with Jupiter in the first house married to some type of like celebrity or athlete, right? Someone, they're well off, they're rich, they're taken care of, but if that person is not teaching them anything about life, or invoking, or there's no spiritual connection, they'll be unfulfilled. Okay? So it's like, being that Jupiter in the first is always respected by most, they, others gravitate towards them, but you guys got to really go off be selective in choosing the correct partner for yourself, because there's just certain things that you require. So definitely, with Jupiter in the first, take a strong look at your Mars and your Venus, all right, in addition to your moon as well. But like I said, keep that in mind. Next thing with Jupiter in the first, career wise, these are coaches, these are preachers, these are anybody who play like counselor, social worker, that plays a major role, right? And usually when Jupiter also gets into first house, it definitely gives the person kids, because Jupiter is the karka of children. So well placed Jupiter will definitely determine how many kids you have. And Jupiter in the first usually gives those in abundance. All right. But like I said, this was my interpretation of Jupiter in the first house. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think. Until next time, peace.